All right. Thank you for joining us for our very first 30-minute Monday. Today, we're really excited to talk about Power Automate and document signing connectors. So I guess a little background about why we're doing all of this. At Reenhanced, we are using a document signing vendor that doesn't have a Power Automate connector. And since we're really involved in the Power Platform, we thought we should have some automated processes here. So we started diving in and trying to learn everything we could possibly learn about different document signing connectors. And as of today, what is today? Monday, September 28th, 2020, there are 400 active connectors for Power Automate. So out of those 400, there are 10 connectors that are focused primarily on document signing. There are many others that have it as part of their suite of solutions, but these are the 10 as of today that offer a document signing solution. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to interrupt me. Happy to talk and answer anything you might have. So we're going to talk a little bit about each of these, and then at the end, we're going to go into Power Automate. Nick's going to lead a bit of a demo for us. So some of these are probably well known. Like for me, I knew DocuSign. I kind of figured DocuSign is going to be the biggest, best, strongest contender here out of the 10. And I didn't recognize many others here. So we have Adobe Sign, AirSlate, DocuSign, GetAccept, HelloSign, Nitro, Scribe eSign, Signing Hub, Sign Now, and my monitor's blocking, Sign Request. So some of these are really cool, and some of these are kind of like half-baked. They're not quite there yet. So,
and Heidi, before you move on, before you get into the ratings, I kind of want to go back to that slide and just talk about sort of the expectations I had when we got into this and how it differed a bit. Because I really thought as we got into this, well, Adobe and DocuSign, they're going to be the best. And, DocuSign especially, everybody's heard about it. And I thought for certain that those were going to be the best ones. And I was really surprised that that's not how it turned out. So this has been really fun to go through and explore every single one of these and kind of look at them in depth. And it was really the two of us that worked together to come up with what this guideline is and figure out what's really important to have in a document signing connector. So I had you skip ahead or skip back, but this is it. So this was what we kind of came up with together. And did you want to take over, Heidi?
Yeah. So in our opinion, some of the must-have features for a really good document signing connector would be, one, you'd want to upload a document for signing. That would be nice to be automated. Number two, kind of sounds like all of them would have this, but they don't indicate where each party should sign. So if you have a document, that should be something that's automated and available to you within the connector. The ability to send it to all signers. So once all parties have signed your document, it would be really nice to automate some tasks to happen after that, even if it's just an email notification and maybe sending a copy of the signed document. Notify all signing parties when others have signed, and notify all signing parties when a document is fully executed. So those were our criteria to evaluate these 10. And with no further ado, here's how they stack up. So, like Nick and I both said, we thought DocuSign, Adobe Sign would have all these checkboxes all the way across. And it was really surprising some of the things that were missing. And I was equally surprised at what we identified as the top 3 connectors in Power Automate, which we'll go into in a bit. So a lot of them don't have the ability to upload a doc or indicate where to sign, which again was a surprising thing as we started evaluating all these. Obviously, everyone can send to signers. That's an action that every one of these connectors can do.
It is. I think that upload a doc was surprising for this. And yes, send to connectors is really important. But the others kind of struck out. And I guess the way we came up with this was just trying to figure out how would companies use this. And we've had requests from people who want to upload their own doc and then use that in a signature. Some of these were built with the idea of, well, let's just send something that's already prepared.
Yeah, it was really interesting. And when you get into the nitty-gritty of each individual connector, they'll make a little bit more sense So things like, well, you upload your docs within Adobe Sign first, then they become available instead of uploading a doc directly using Power Automate. So we do have a great amount of detail and documentation on each. So on the left-hand column is a link to the Microsoft documentation for each of these. Our center column lists the numbers of triggers and or actions that each connector has, which is important because it gives you an idea of how broad in scope this connector may be or how small. We have noticed some of the newer connectors launch with maybe one action or one trigger, and then in future iterations, they release more functionality. So some of these we anticipate growing. This is a snapshot in time. I know GetAccept and Nitro are new. They just launched September 5th and September 6th. So there might be more to them in the future than there is right now. And on the right-hand column is our rating from 1 to 5 stars, based kind of on just an initial review, diving into the triggers and actions, and some of the full functionality that may or may not be available. So we'll make these slides available to everyone in case you want to check out the details. If one of these seems interesting to you, you can learn more.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Oh, you moved on. Can we go back? Because the triggers are what make this really interesting. So I like that hello sign has 3 triggers. And anytime I'm using the flows, I think triggers are some of the most important part because they dictate how you're going to start the process off. And if you have a connector that doesn't have a trigger, then you don't have a way to use that to start things. So inside Power Automate, you're going to have all the different interactions you have between your different software products. And the ones that have triggers are the ones that you can use as the start. So the fact that Adobe Sign doesn't have any triggers means you can't react to when something is signed. You just have to, you have to do that through some other process and use that to start off your flows.
Yeah, so I just clicked on the link to GetAccept to kind of load up the Microsoft documentation to give you an idea of what Nick's talking about. It's being a little slow to load. Sorry about that. But this one, we gave 5 stars because there's just so much to do in here. This GetAccept has 20 actions and 4 triggers. So yeah, it's way above and beyond just the criteria we use to evaluate them. Here's a few of them. So again, it's more than just signing documents. It's pretty comprehensive. So create a new contact if you're sending it to somebody who hasn't already been sent a contract, get document details. Lots and lots of actions. It's very slowly loading, I'm sorry. And the triggers are cool too.
Yeah. I was surprised that Adobe Sign didn't have any triggers. They've got
a lot of them don't have triggers.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what? It looks like Adobe Sign does. They've updated since we last looked at this. So we do have some triggers in Adobe Sign. So things are changing pretty quickly. It's interesting how fast things move along here. So yeah, maybe we'll have to look back at Adobe Sign. I do have the details up. We could go over it, but I think that it's still.
No, they haven't added too much. I want to focus on the 3 that we rated highest. So yeah, we have a little bit more detail about that because again, they're like not well known. I did put Adobe Sign in here because of everything that Nick's saying. So while Adobe Sign wasn't our #1 winner when you look at the criteria, there's a lot of potential there. And I know I put a lot on this slide here. So Adobe Sign, obviously you can't upload documents, which you talked about, but they do let you access your entire document library. So you go into Adobe Sign and you upload your documents there and then you have full access to everything that's there. So it just adds another little step. Create them all within Adobe Sign instead of having them created through Power Automate. It supports predefined templates, which is nice if you're in here building all of these things. You have the ability to upload a document to use for signing. So I know that's not an action available, but it does have that ability so you can sign new documents the platform hasn't seen before. It's a good connector to work with for documents unique to each flow. So if you're not sending out the same document to many people, this can be a really nice option for you. It's definitely one of the more pricier, on the pricier side of the scale here. So like we said here, the price is your big driver on this connector. If you have some sort of big corporate-wide deal with Adobe, you can probably take advantage of better pricing than like if you're a small shop with 1 or 2 people of your document signers. We
Yeah.
do love the very deep experience Adobe has in this space of document signing. Probably everybody's heard of them. So it's likely to continue to iterate to add more functionality that's not here today. And you'd probably get a great experience from them. Nick, did you want to add anything else about Adobe?
Yeah, I maybe Adobe, but more in general, the fact that there's so much competition here, given that there's 10 of them, it shows that this isn't a terribly complicated space. So I know pricing's a big driver, but honestly, it's the actual tech behind it isn't that hard. So it's worthwhile to explore all the different options. And that's one of the reasons why I really like Power Automate, because you can now, mix these guys in, drop them out. And if they support the right actions and triggers, you can be pretty it doesn't have to be exposed to your customers who you're actually using for this. A lot of the issues you have when you build out custom software projects is you get really entrenched behind a particular vendor. And the way that you can build things nowadays, you don't see that sort of thing. You're a little bit protected against it. So that's kind of nice that that you can do that. But Adobe Sign does seem like it's a really good one on this.
Cool. So GetAccept, really liked GetAccept. Like I said, this one just came out. I think it came out on September 6th. So they came out like with all like punches rolling. They didn't just bring one trigger
Yeah,
and one action. They have so much stuff. So
this
one thing
company came out of nowhere. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, they do have a limitation on your document size. I mean, hopefully you're not sending too many documents above the 10 megabyte limit, but that is your limit for them. You won't be able to use Power Automate Accept if you're beyond 10 megabyte. They prefer PDF formats, but I really liked that this had the ability within the Power Automate connector to convert your files. So if you're using a Mac and you need to convert it into something more widely used, you could do that within the connector, which I thought was cool. So I listed all of their documents that they will use. Again, they have way more than the 5 actions and triggers from the initial evaluation. It seems like a really cool option. I think it's the one I'm most excited to evaluate internally for us. This is my favorite. And I also really like that the pricing was affordable. It's $25 a month, which is up to 4 users. And there's a link to all their pricing stuff here. So really cool option to evaluate all of your document signing needs. I'm the most excited about this one.
Yeah, this one's cool. So Heidi, when you say Mac files, it's actually what they have it listed is the numbers. So numbers is it's like Apple's implementation of Excel. And they actually go a little bit further because you can upload JPEGs and PNGs. So you can have signatures applied against images, which is really kind of cool. This one's neat because you have they have it also has things there about videos and presenting a really nice document signing experience, which goes above and beyond. Wasn't part of our core things, but after digging into this connector a little bit deeper, it's really cool that you can present the the document to the user in a way where if you wanted to put your own videos, your own kind of attachments to it, you can do that. So if you use this for sending out quotes and you need to get quotes approved, you can now attach all of your sales collateral right along with it. It presents
As
a really
long as
nice
it's under
experience.
10 megabytes in size.
That's just for the document itself. So you can
Okay,
upload videos that are bigger than that.
cool. And the third big winner we thought was Signing Hub. So Signing Hub was a really interesting one as well. I liked that you could have the review, approval, delivery, and digital signatures. So just like the last one we talked about, had more functionality than just the initial criteria. One thing that wasn't great is this third bullet point here. It has no triggers. So it won't be able to kick off an automation in Power Automate. It will just be able to be applied as an action. So we did say we hope that they add trigger support soon, because it is among the most complete Power Automate integrations of document signing that we've seen. So pretty cool. You can upload both documents and apply a signature through the connector. Really, really, really hoping they can add some triggers. So this can be just as good as GetAccept. Pricing for this one's a little bit more. It starts at $16 per user per month. And there's a link to all of that stuff too. So Nick, did you have anything to say on this one?
Yeah, this one's cool
I
because you
thought you
can,
would.
well, you can terminate the workflow in the middle. So, I'm so big on really integrating products together and having the ability to, let's go back to the quote example. If you're sending out quotes that need to be approved, you can use this thing to send off your quote to get it approved. And if the customer calls you up and says, "Hey, I've changed my mind," you can actually stop the process automatically in the middle and send out a new quote. So that way you don't have these things left out there as orphans, and it's just neat to see that you have that sort of functionality. So if you built like a Dynamics implementation and you had sent out this quote and you needed to cancel it, this would kind of take care of that loose end, so your customer doesn't have the ability to go back and sign something that's outdated, or if you sent them the wrong quote, for example. It's just less to think about when you can build it to that level. And every single one of these has their own sort of twist and their own cool thing that makes them really interesting.
Cool. So no further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Nick, and he's going to dive into Power Automate and do a little demo here. And Nick, you want to share your screen?
Yep. Get it pulled up here. The screen here. Okay, so I did try to get into creating all of these things and create a quick demo, and it is not been the easiest to do that. So we're going to start here with Power Automate and just go through the different actions for the two of the three most popular. So we had Adobe Sign, and in addition to these, and Adobe Sign is actually really good. It looks like it's been updated since we last did a deep dive on this. While I think that Adobe Sign is probably something that you may be considering for your company, these two are definitely worth taking a look at. So with Signing Hub, here's this terminate in the middle one. So if we take a look at this, we can see as it loads, it just needs a workflow ID. So that then comes from the workflow. So if we take a look at the rest of these, and you'll be able to see the other parts to it. So just kind of want to get into how these things are built, and do that in order because of flow. So
Nick,
let's take a look at how you build these.
Yeah. All of these have free trials available, right? So you were able to log on, grab your free trial, and get started, and test drive it, and see if you like it before you commit to it, right?
Both of these are active. So both of these have an active connection, so we don't have to step through that. And we can go through a demo of each of them. And it's kind of just doing it on the fly. So if we dig into this, we'll be able to see how they work and see the details on it. One of the things that is, these connectors are all cool, but if you can't put in dynamic content that you've gotten from somewhere else, then it gets to be really difficult. Meaning, I've just done these as manually triggered. So you can imagine if you have other steps in here that would feed in a particular document and you need to get that signed. So going back to that quote approval or, contract sort of stuff. Then if you got the document somewhere else, you'd need to be able to upload that. So with this one, you'd be able to say upload into a workflow. But again, it needs this workflow ID. So, as we get into these things, we have to create the workflow first. So every one of them takes their own steps to implement them. So Signing Hub, you have to make a workflow. And that comes from create a workflow. So you have to start everything here. So this is going to be, Power Automate demo. And then we're going to make that. And from here, we'll get into the next step. And these things are never fun. So document content, this doesn't even make sense. All right, well, this is why we've got two of them pulled up, because it is a live demo. And, that's how these things go. Just so we can see, I do have the account here set up for this, and we can take a look. So we have this account, it's already here, but for some reason it's not working. And this is where you get into Power Automate is a very new service. That's a shame for these guys. I really wanted to give a good demo of this. Let's switch over to GetAccept. So again, with this one, I actually already created a template because I was trying to get a little bit ahead. That template didn't work out for us, so we're just going to go back to here where we've got nothing. So let's take a look at how you get started with the GetAccept side of things. And to do that, let's look at all the different options we've got. So some of these work where you have to upload templates first and do the work on the provider side, and that is where many of these have the issues. So if we take a closer look back at the list here of how they stack up, GetAccept is the only one that does all five parts for us. So uploading a doc is actually we have to check that for Adobe Sign because that one's now there too. But there's only a couple of these that do upload the doc. That indicate where to sign is interesting. Some of the connectors actually allow you to specify coordinates for where the signatures are going to be applied, and others just allow you to sign against it kind of in general. So with this one doesn't have its workflow or anything like that. So if we take a close look at how they all work, you remember I called out the upload a video and upload attachment. That's because inside of GetAccept, you can do a, I don't know the best way to show this. So if you create a new document, then we're just going to upload a file. And I've got a file here that I'm using. So let me grab the file off of the desktop, I think. All right, so I've got a demo file here that I'm going to upload. And once the file comes in, this one, I tried to make it be a mail merge. So we could try to use that because it looks like there's some word merge stuff here. So let me show you that real quick. So here we had a really simple document. It's a mail merge. It says that the day name plural is the best day, and it certifies that whatever day you put in is the best day of the week. And then everyone signs it, is in agreement to that. It's a really kind of contrived example, but it's just a simple workflow. So here you have the integrations tab, and word merge was what I was trying to use at, which is why it has that. Didn't really work out. Not really sure why, but that again, is kind of an exploratory path as you go through all of these. So for here, we have this document, and if we were going to add the next step here, we're going to have to add the signature in and just do, that sort of thing. And let's just keep moving. So now we'll hit sending, and I have to go through this thing. So here's this video thing that I was talking about, and I actually have the demo here. So the video would overlay on top of it and give you a nice sort of approach there. And that's where this videos and users and all the other attachment stuff comes in. This one lets you kind of put it all together so you can have this nice presentation to the users. So if we upload a document file, then you can see from here, it's looking for a binary file. So in order to do that, we're gonna have to put a file in here. So you would just do it like this. You'd hit add an input and then put the file in. And then when you run this flow, you can put the file content here. So from there, it's going to be file content. And the file name would be, it says it needs the extension. So we'll say demo file.docx. And then we're going to want to do something with the file that we've uploaded. So we can just send it for signing. So again, we just type in GetAccept and we can see where that is. So from here, we're going to say send existing document. and we're going to get the document ID, and that's going to say, weird, the file wouldn't have existed already.
So Nick, I think a solid use case would be, instead of manually triggering our flow, maybe, since all of us on the call today are Dynamics people, so if you start from Dynamics 365 and maybe your trigger is a one opportunity, which then generates a document, then it would be able to be personalized with some of the detail that's coming off of that opportunity, right? You don't have to do it. We only have 3 minutes, but I'm just trying to think of like use cases and how we'd build it.
Yeah, and it's neat that you can have the notifications come out. This notification process is actually a step further. So when we say notify, it means, yes, you can send out SMS and all those sort of things, but it means that you can have it act a certain way. So you can then, when the document gets signed, you can have it, you can have the document itself kick off another flow. So it can do the post document signing process for some of these, and that's what these notify things mean. But you have to look at each one in detail. We've got the GetAccept is a pretty good one, and then Signing Hub as well, and then Adobe Sign. I think we want to take another look at that, because this one has been extended in ways that make it even more interesting.
Cool.
So
thanks for the quick live demo, Nick.
No problem. I'm sorry I didn't get into more detail on all of it.
That's okay. That's the 30-minute thing, right? So I'm just going to share my screen.
Yeah. Okay.
And again, we'll steal it from you and just plug our next session. So next week, we're going to focus on something in Dynamics 365, which is how to add color on an option set and apply a calendar control, which then colors everything differently. So I'll walk through how to do that and do a live demo on that as well. So that's Monday, October 5th, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thank you. We have like almost no time left. Lee, did you have any questions for Nick or I about this? Are you looking for anything today for document signing?
No, I learned a lot. Thank you guys for giving me so much information.
Cool.
Happy to help. Yeah, these are fun. I like this. Let's keep this going.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks again, Nick. Thank you, Lee, and have an awesome week.
Yeah. Happy Monday.
Bye.
Bye.